Collapse of structure in structured organizations. When we talk about structured organizations, that's the picture in the ideal world. There should be structure, there should be mechanisms in place to get you from point A to point B. But what do you do when all that you've implemented in the organization seems to fall apart? You've got the tool, the techniques, the resources, you've got all the initiatives, but there seems to be collapse of structure. These are top 9 points on what to do when structure collapses in an organization. Number 1. When structure collapses in an organization, use a reliable approach to find out what happened. Use a reliable approach for fact-finding, problem-solving, and also making corrections on the processes at hand or on the tools and techniques and all the mechanisms that you've implemented. You need a reliable approach to find out what went wrong. I will recommend the Dmaic process. The Dmaic process is a Six Sigma approach to problem solving. The Dmaic approach, D-M-A-I-C, has 5 steps. D for define, M for measure, A for analyze, I to improve, and C to control. These 5 steps enable you correct the breakdown in tools, techniques, and business processes. Dmaic was inspired by Deming's plan, do, check, act cycle. Dmaic is used to improve existing business processes in an organization. It's also used to create new products or new process designs. So let's talk about Dmaic a little bit. D, define. In this process, you are defining the goals that are consistent with the customer's demand. And by customer, we're talking about people in the organization or people external to the organization and the overall enterprise strategy. So you are looking at your process that's broken and you're saying, what are the goals of this process? Or you're looking at the collapse of the structure. What structure did we have and why is it broken? What did we actually want to achieve? So you look for the goals in having structure or the goals in that process in the organization. So D for define, defining the goals. Next, it's M for measure. What you're doing is measuring key aspects of the current process and collecting relevant data. For example, you've got a process that you've put in place for your mailroom. In the measure aspect, you could be collecting relevant data. An example could be measuring how long it takes the mailroom personnel to find out who unaddressed mail belongs to and assign a mail drop number. So define, measure. The next is A, analyze. You need to analyze the data to verify cause and effect relationships. Find out, based on the data, why the process is failing. The next is improve. After you've analyzed the data to find out what the relationships are between the cause and the effect, you need to improve or optimize the process based on the data that you received, similar to design of experiments. Make things better, make life easier, and make the process smoother and controllable. There's no sense in creating a process that is laborious for the people working. You want to make sure that whatever process you put in place doesn't create work for the individuals. You want it to simplify work, but you don't want it to increase work. Lastly, control. C. Control is to ensure that there are no deviations from the identified goals in the defined process and make sure that there are no deviations from the target. It's really all about ensuring that problems are corrected before they result in breakdowns or a collapse of the process. So, talking about collapse in structured organizations, when your process collapses, use the Dmaic approach to find out what is best for the organization and how to make corrections. Number 2, when an organization's structure collapses, That might be the right time to train or retrain employees. Spend money on productive training and don't cut corners. Number 3, usually when something goes wrong, someone's dropped the ball. You need to identify the level of accountability. Find out who was responsible and find out how to correct that person's perception to the problem or to the process. Number 4, be involved in your subordinates' weekly or monthly activities. Typically, when there's collapse, it means that a supervisor didn't supervise his subordinate, whether at the CEO level, at the VP level, or at the director level. It doesn't pay to be aloof. You can't always entrust people to do exactly what should be. Get involved in your subordinates' activities. Make sure that the processes that they're involved in directly are going according to plan. Make sure that the tools or the techniques that they implemented and they're meant to be managing are actually working.